Hey yo, ladies and gentlemen, fellas, welcome to Sunday week 7. Second best day of the week is the football Sunday, after Monday, of course. How y'all doing? Welcome into the stream right now. We're going to be live until, 11:30, somewhere around there, depending on how rough, rowdy, wild, wet we can get up in this bad boy. It's going to be a crazy time. A lot of questions, a lot of injuries, a lot of news that we actually have. It seems like we have almost every single piece of news that we need to have. Confirmation on Aaron Jones seems doubtful. Confirmation on Jordan Atkins seems doubtful. He's ruled questionable, but seems doubtful. So, yeah, we're going to get some news relatively soon at 11:30 a.m. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for a lot of things that are happening on this slate because building lineups, it is very easy to get unique. There is quarterbacks and games and environments today that look great in a lot of different situations for stacking. There is an assortment and an array of cheap wide receivers and dirt cheap running backs that project out nicely. So pretty easy to get unique today. The video, before we keep getting into it in the stream, and we're going to be touching on some things in terms of their pricing on the market throughout this, is Jock Market, proud sponsor of the Sunday streams of the Friday Final Thoughts video, some of the two biggest shows that I do. Very excited to have Jock Market as a partner again on this video. If you're not familiar, daily fantasy sports meets a stock exchange. Yes, link down below is their app, their website. You can check out a contest if you want to get some free dollar Ruskies to play over there as well. But check it out, the app, or the link down below will take you right to the app and the website. It's a fantastic, different type of game mode that I've been waiting to happen, waiting to see in the market, and now it's definitely already in the market because of Jock Market. So be sure to check them out. We're going to be looking at their prices throughout. The market opens at 8 a.m. East Coast time, and it closes at noon East Coast time. So it's been basically to the minute halfway through right now. So we have some live pricing that's coming in. You can see that if there's not a live pricing, there's just nobody that's been bid on from that. You're going to get most of your activity in that final half hour. So you can see there's some pricing. Kareem Hunt's coming, Terry McLaurin, Calvin Ridley, already guys that are popular. Calvin Ridley already priced up. So you can see based on this far right column is where if they are around there, that's where you would expect them. That's where it's a fair price. You see, guys right now are underpriced, but we're going to have a couple hours until this thing's locks. But be sure to check it out. We'll be tracking this throughout. The higher the fantasy points, the better they're going to produce. So if you buy them low, the lower that you can bid on these players and actually get some shares. And if they rank highly in fantasy points, bang, your ROI, your return on investment is higher. So check out Jock Market. We'll be looking through this as the day goes on. Hopefully get a color-coded version by next week. I can put that together. So thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm going to just start answering your questions. We're going to start going through this. I have all my lineups crunched. I have all my projections, rankings, the Final Thoughts podcast on how we're approaching this slate, some of the rules that we're using in our optimizers, some of the groups that we're using, the specifics to those groups and the nuances, and why just doing little small things will change your lineups and potentially make them 12, 15% much worse. We touch on all of that stuff on that podcast this morning. So if you want to get access to all that type of stuff, linked down below on Patreon. I see 350 people already in here within the first couple of minutes. So what's up, everybody? I see people hopping up in here. I'm going to just take the questions from where I can see them right now. So if you commented a while ago at the beginning, you can feel free to re-comment it. Just don't send it in here like 30 times. Otherwise, I'm just going to kick you on out of here. So we need to get to as many people's questions as we possibly can. Good morning, Sal. Good morning, Caleb. How you doing? Good morning, Sal. What's up, son? How you doing? Bill Thompson says, Penn State got robbed. Yeah, crazy ending to the game. Wild inning. Sal's in the house. Fellas. Let's get this. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Cool. Somebody says Bernard is a cheap fill-in play. Yeah, I mean, Bernard's not going to have as much ownership as Jamal Williams. Bernard looks fine. I prefer Jamal Williams, but Bernard looks fine. Finally, a serious Rodgers discussion. Yeah, I mean, it's always a serious Rodgers discussion. David Bakhtiari has been ruled out. Is it still safe to play Aaron Jones if he plays? Aaron Jones is, I would say, 99% not going to play today. That's just my take on the matter. Obviously, that is a extreme take. But I would say that he's not going to play. Obviously, since he traveled, there's a chance that he could play. But he has a calf strain, and they're not going to play him unless he's 100% healthy. So unless his calf strain for somehow healed, which takes probably a week to heal instead of 2 days to heal, day and a half, I don't think he's playing. I think it's Jamal Williams' show. I think A.J. Dillon is a fine leverage play in GPPs off of Jamal Williams' chalk, but it seems to be pretty clearly the Jamal Williams show, in my opinion. When's Jock Market coming to Android? Very soon is what I hear. Infamous, start Jamal Williams, somebody says. What do you think about David Njoku? I think he's a fine tight end. He's very cheap, which is nice, $3,000. He's okay. He's going to be a touchdown or bust like a lot of these tight ends. There's not great tight end options on the slate, I guess you can say. Like Kittle, obviously. Kelsey in the snow, I think he's fine. Really tough matchup for Waller against Tampa Bay. So the pay-up options are a little bit tough. The mid-range is overpriced for guys like Noah Fant, for TJ Hawkinson. We'll keep their ownership down, but then you have a nice array of cheaper guys from Hayden Hurst to Hunter Henry to David Njoku, Darren Fells, because it looks like Atkins is probably not going to be out there. So you have a nice array of a bunch of different guys there, which makes it pretty appealing, I would say. Pretty appealing to be going to guys in that range, down in that range. I need to put this on a loop. Let me do this real quickly. So yeah, I think that Njoku's fine. Good morning, Sal. Can you scroll up to your yeses? Somebody says these are all the quarterbacks. That's it. Those are all the yeses. There are no quarterbacks that are a yes. None of them stand out above the rest. Deshaun Watson would be the one who gets close for me, but it's a balanced slate. There are guys that I obviously have more ownership to compared to some of these. Like some of these guys who are an X, I only have 5%. Some of them are 15%, but there's no guys who stand out in any way above the rest. Watson would maybe be the only one. Boyd, Deontay, Shark, Woods, Cook, sit one of them. I would sit Shark. Julio or Ridley today? I have more ownership to Ridley. Sal, what's up, bro? What's going on? Will, how you doing? Abandon ship on the Murray Hopkins. Give me a stacking option. That's a fine stacking option. I have a decent amount of Murray. I have a good amount of Hopkins. Hopkins is like my 6th highest owned receiver. Murray's pretty much in a hodgepodge of guys who are like 7% owned for me. Any interest in Perriman? No, sir. What is your favorite team stack? My exposures are all spread out. Like this is the first week based on the games just all looking very similar. That normally I'll have like 2 or 3 teams. Like last week, the Texans and Titans were 51% of my exposure. Both sides of that, mainly Deshaun and then also some Tannehill, and that worked out fantastic. This week it's not the same thing. It takes like 4 guys to get to that 50% mark instead of a couple. So I mean my exposures right now are kind of all over the place. Deshaun Watson, depending on how many options, depending on if I want to stack exactly 2 players with each other, with the quarterback, or if I want to stack at least 1 and at most 2, meaning that I don't have to always get 2, will depend on how much Deshaun Watson I get. But I'm getting a good amount of Deshaun Watson, not equal amounts, but close amounts then of Bridgewater, Murray, Mahomes, Rodgers, and then lesser amounts of Ryan, Herbert, Brady, Newton, Burrow. So yeah, ownership is going to be spread out. I'm more excited to play single entry and 3 max this week than 150s because of the fact that it's spread out. You can obviously leverage yourself way more in just 1 or 3 lineups. Do you play the player props on Thrive Fantasy? No. Why not A.J. Dillon as a pivot off Williams? He's fine. I have him as somebody of interest to me. Gibson could be low owned. This could be his week, Sal. Yeah, I mean, he's $5,000, and there's like 4 to 5 running backs who have more established roles, going to see more work, project out better. So he's going to be low owned. That's fair, but I just can't go to the guy who can't get 55% of the snaps in his offense. Guessing that you were leaning that Pitt, Tennessee is lower scoring. I don't really care what the total is. They could score 50 points. It's just that the players are priced for it. The stacks aren't that great. Roethlisberger can't run. Has not much overall upside in my opinion. Tannehill, obviously you've seen the upside recently, but projects out not as good. Paul, $3 donation. He says, hey, Sal. Appreciate the super chat. He says, pick one of these. Woods, Traquan Smith, Bernard, or Jones. I would be going with Robert Woods there. Which Texan wide receiver is going to draw the most? Jair Alexander. I mean, Jair is going to be on both Cooks, the outside receivers, both Cooks and Fuller. I mean, if I had to tell you, I would say maybe he is on Fuller like 65% of the time. Jair won't fully shadow. No cornerback will 100%. Like when you hear a shadow matchup, that usually means like 60 to 70% of the time they're on a guy. So I would assume that 60% of the time it's somewhere around there. Will Fuller, partially, and the other part is going to be Brandon Cooks. But keep this in mind. Jair Alexander, I mean, I'm a Packers fan. I would say I'm like the least biased you can be, though, from this standpoint. When it comes to actually putting money on the line. Jair Alexander is a very good cornerback. It's been 2 weeks that people want to hype him up a little bit more now. And look, he's going to keep getting better as he gets older, hopefully is the goal. But he faces Calvin Ridley and he faces Mike Evans. Mike Evans, who has not been good this year, anybody guarding him, right? He has 2 catches, 2 yards, and 2 touchdowns in one game. He's not been good at all, Mike Evans, right? So I don't really care that he shuts him down. It's good that he did, but don't really care. Calvin Ridley, he shuts down to a goose egg, right? But if you watch that game, Calvin Ridley had a 35, 40-yard touchdown that was underthrown to him. He beat Jair Alexander, so he beat him. Another time, he beat Jair Alexander for what would have been a 30-plus yard catch, maybe a touchdown, probably would have been a toe tap. So in that game, if Matt Ryan is accurate, Calvin Ridley goes for at least 2 catches, at least 70-plus yards, and a touchdown. And then nobody's talking about being scared about Jair Alexander. I think Jair is a good cornerback. I don't think he's a, oh my God, you can't play Will Fuller cornerback. Oh my, I can't stack Will Fuller. I can't play him in my season-long league. Jair's out there. No. Like, I hope it gets to that point as a Packers fan, selfishly, but that is not where Jair Alexander is. He shut down a bad Mike Evans, who I think most quality cornerbacks so far this year have shut him down. And then he did not shut down Calvin Ridley in terms of locking him up every single play. Calvin Ridley got behind him twice. So I think Will Fuller, with faster speed than Calvin Ridley, and in my opinion, this year been better than Calvin Ridley, Will Fuller, I think he'll be fine. Hey, Sal, what do you think happens in the 49ers backfield today? I think Jerick McKinnon takes on the primary amount of work. I think that Hasty and Smith are going to be secondary options. Is Kareem Hunt too chalky? I have, relative to the ownership on Kareem Hunt, I would assume that I'm above the field in Kareem Hunt. I have about 37%. Jamal Williams or Jerick McKinnon? Jamal Williams. Do you think Ronald Jones is slipping under the radar this week? To an extent, yeah, Ronald Jones won't be owned. They're going to be touchdown plus favorites against. Oh no, they're only 2.5 point favorites. I'm thinking of the Chargers and Justin Jackson. Yeah, to an extent, but he's just priced properly. Like, it's tough to want to get to Ronald Jones. I have none. I have 1% maybe. It's tough to want to get to Ronald Jones when guys priced around him are just way better projected plays, and some of them are not owned. PJ Erickson donates $5 Rooskies to the stream. Let me move this over to running backs now for you peeps. Running backs, I could answer all your questions. There's going to be very chalky running backs: Kamara, Hunt, Giovanni Bernard, Jamal Williams. Very chalky. I like them all. I'm above the field on Jamal by a lot. I'm above the field on Kamara by a decent amount. Hunt by a decent amount. I'm probably at the field or below on Gio. I'm like 16% right now. But above the field on Zeke. Zeke's not going to be owned. Might be 3 times the field on Zeke without even trying. Is Fells 1K better than Croft? I'd rather have Fells than Croft. PJ Erickson says, hey, Sal. In a season-long league, I'm leaning on starting Gio over David Montgomery this week. What is your take? Thanks, man. I would start Gio. Yep. Thank you for the super chat. $20 super chat from Chris Franklin. He doesn't even ask anything, but he says, doing yourselves an injustice. Get the Patreon. Roll with the champ, Sal V. We are shipping it over here. My man, that's not even me. That's not me on a separate account right now trying to hype up the Patreon, make it look like I'm paying myself $20 Rooskies. But thank you. Chris Franklin, too kind of you. Yeah, be sure to check out Patreon. We have now hit a record-setting over 455 patrons, I believe, right now, as we get into the heart of the NFL season. So check it out. A lot of stuff. It's been a very profitable year for not only myself, upwards of over 20K in profit during this NFL season through just 6 weeks. And that number would probably be higher if I just stayed away from showdowns. We started off with a nice $1,600 profits on the first Thursday night showdown slate of the entire year. And then obviously playing the Millie Maker doesn't help when the one big week we had trying to treat ourselves to a Millie Maker 2-game slate on a Monday night. So I guess not a showdown, but yeah, probably be up like 23K on showdowns or overall this year. What do you think if you have Hopkins in the late game and he's ruled out? He's going to be fine. All reports say that he's active. We on Jerick McKinnon and Jared Cook. I mean, I'm on McKinnon over the field. I have like 4% McKinnon. He's going to be like 1% owned. I like Jared Cook a lot. Yeah. How do you feel about Keenan Allen at wideout today? He's going to be highly owned, and he should be. Keenan Allen, I have a lot of. I have 33% Keenan Allen. He's my highest owned wide receiver. You still like Mahomes? I still do like Mahomes, but not nearly as much as I would have liked him 3 or 4 days ago. The only way that I ever, and let me pull this up right now. Pull it up over here first and pull it over. The only reason that I would ever pivot away because of weather is if the people who are actually sharp in the market in Vegas says, okay, we're lowering this total. Whether it's sharp bettors coming in, right? That's mainly what's going to lower the market when people are absolutely shooting on the under to make the over look more appealing. So as I pull this up on the screen right now, let's pull up KC, right? So this is what is a little bit concerning about Kansas City. They opened, as you can see right here, this is Kansas City's logo. It's barely off the screen. 28.75 team implied total. So basically 29 implied points. That's very good, right? No, we like to see that. It's now dropped 3.2 points. It's now dropped to 25.5. 25.5 for a team total is still good. Like, don't get me wrong, that's good. But losing 3 points on your total, yeah, that's obviously going to make me not like Mahomes as much, right? It's going to make me not like this team as much. But that's built into the ownership already, right? The concern is that this game has dropped from 48.5 overall total to 44 right now. Chiefs have gone, though, which would be maybe a positive thing, from 9-point favorites to 7-point favorites. So maybe that does help from a standpoint of just keeping the game a little bit closer. Somebody says, I need a sub $3,000 running back. Any suggestions? Yeah, you're never going to find one, guy. Hey, Sal, hope you're #winning. Remember week 1 when I was hyping Chase Claypool, local kid from my area, killed my high school in the British Columbia. Nice. Is Fournette taking the backfield back from Jones? I would say right now, no. Jones has been very good. Cook or Fells for season long? I'll go Jared Cook. Thoughts on Gurley? I don't really have much interest. I think he's going to be unowned, Gurley. I have 0% right now. He's going to be unowned. It's just really tough to want to get there because he's basically Kenyon Drake, but scoring touchdowns because he's in a offense that seems to be in the red zone more often. What's your projections on Terry McLaurin today? Yeah, so Terry McLaurin, I'm not going to be anywhere near what the field's going to be on him. It's fine. Like, his matchup is obviously fantastic, and the ownership is going to follow that. Terry McLaurin, I have as a fine play. Like, if you're looking at my projections, he's my 19th overall wide receiver, factoring on all value. I have him for 15.4 fantasy points. So relative to the field, I'm not going to be coming in at the chalky ownership that he's going to be at. So let me just pull this up quickly. Terry McLaurin, my ownership towards Terry McLaurin is not a lot. My latest run, I have 7%. So I'll probably be half the field, maybe even less than half the field on Terry McLaurin. And I am completely fine with that. Ditch one, Tyreek Hill, McLaurin, and Galladay. If I had to ditch one of those, like for DFS, I would probably ditch McLaurin, just ownership, get away from it, go somewhere else. Boyd or Higgins today? I like Boyd more, but I have more AJ Green than both of them on that team. I have 4% Boyd. I have 1% Higgins. Any Tyler Lockett for you? Yeah, I'm running Tyler Lockett. I probably don't get the Lockett in my single entry and 3 max. He does seem very appealing. I'm not getting to much of that game at all in my overall game stacks and team stacks, which is scary because it's a late game and I'm just going to watch all my money continue to go away. So I'm not checking any of my winnings until literally the fourth quarter of that last game on the night. But I have 8% Lockett, but I'm not getting a lot of that game overall. Like I might have pieces here and there. I might try and build like a 3 max lineup around it, but I have 11% Murray, which is fine. Like I guess the Arizona side is where I'm getting to, but I only have 1% Russell Wilson, so not a lot of Seahawks stacks. Is Kelsey necessary in cash? No, because there's other options around him, right? Waller, tough matchup. Kelsey, Snow can be a concern, but I would still prefer Kelsey as a pay up. Gotten in here late. Sorry if it's been asked. Are you getting less of Aaron Jones now that he is a doubtful? I mean, I've ruled out Aaron Jones for about a day and a half. I've had Aaron Jones in 0% of my lineups. I've been going under the assumption you get a lower body injury on a Friday, and then they tell you that you can travel. You had to talk your way into traveling with the team. So you have to put up a fight to just travel with the team, and the doctors will not play you unless you're 100%. And we have a very recent Davonte Adams case of this where he was 95%, he said in his quote, and they said you're not playing. So, and they activated Dexter Williams to the active roster, who's another running back. So I'm not going to say it's 100% chance Aaron Jones because crazy things can happen, but I would say it's a 99% chance Aaron Jones does not play today by all the pictures. So Jamal Williams looks fantastic. A.J. Dillon looks playable. He's going to have to score touchdowns for you to be viable, but he's $4,000. And he's going to have to score at least a touchdown, probably 2, because I don't expect much passing game work. I think that's all Jamal Williams. Any Deontay Johnson for you? Yep. I'm considering Deontay Johnson in my main single entry, but I'm not positive. Sal, nice shirt. Thank you. I appreciate it. Deontay Johnson or Allen Robinson? I mean, Allen Robinson easily. Marvin Jones, question mark? I have like 4%. Do you like Sample as a value play for a flex? I would never play Drew Sample in the flex. I don't even like playing tight ends ever in the flex because their upside is insanely limited unless you're trying to get like a Kittle and a Kelsey in there, but insanely limited. And Drew Sample would not be the guy that I'm trying to get in there. No interest. Davonte Adams, question mark? Second highest owned wide receiver at 31% for me. Edits donates $2 to the stream. He says, you trust Williams if Jones can't go? Well, Jones probably not going to go. Yeah, I trust Williams. Anytime Jamal Williams has had more of a featured role, he's been fantastic. Last year when Aaron Jones was hurt, and also Aaron Jones like fumbled the ball, dropped the pass, Jamal Williams came in as like a primary back on a primetime game. He's looked good. He's a great pass catching running back. Last year he was top 5. He was number 3 overall in PFF's pass catching running backs grades. So Jamal Williams, great pass catching running back. Not the greatest in pass pro. Like he's probably equal there with in terms of Aaron Jones. And he's a good on-the-ground runner. So Jamal Williams is going to be somebody who I would expect today to see 4 to 6 targets, somewhere around there. 5 is a projection. And yeah, like 12 to 14 carries. Like I would not be shocked if the carries are split 10 to 12 carries apiece for Dillon and Jamal Williams. But the upside comes in for Jamal Williams of obviously being able to snatch like an easy 5 or 6 points in the passing game, and which is why I have him for like a 15-point projection. Do you like Jamal Williams over Gio? Yeah, I do. Somebody says I need a sub 3K tight end. I mean, your options are like Harrison Bryant's probably your best option since there's no Austin Hooper. He'll be running. He's a punt. Cameron Brate to an extent. Those are like your options. Watson or Rodgers today? I like Watson more. What is your opinion on Jamal Williams' role in the offense? So yeah, just answer that, Justin. Hopefully the lag is like hitting you now. How you feel about MVS? MVS is going to go under the radar. He's done absolutely nothing since week 1, right? But he is not a number 1 receiver. Now Adams is back for the second week after a very tough matchup last week. I have 12% MVS. I'm going to be above the field on MVS. MVS is just going way undernoticed. He's a risky play. Like, I want to play MVS in my main single entry lineup that I put into like a lot of higher stake stuffs. It's obviously completely boom or bust. But this matchup is so goddamn amazing. Last week, right? So every single week since week 1 when Adams has been out. Week 1, MVS does well. The next week, Adam gets hurt. Then he misses a couple weeks. MVS cannot operate as a number 1 receiver if a defense is keying in on him. He just can't, right? He's too raw. He's too somewhat one-dimensional. They put MVS in the slot last week, which is good to see for his usage. But this week, Tampa Bay last week, rough for everybody, including Davonte Adams. Only had 6 for 66, 10 targets. This week, totally different matchup. So MVS is a very quality option. If you're stacking the Packers, I would prefer MVS over Robert Tonyan in those stacks. I'm not going to be stacking Jamal Williams at Aaron Rodgers. You can make that what you want. If you like stacking running backs, you can. But it gives me like 10% extra Aaron Rodgers. If you're building just one lineup today and you want to stack Jamal Williams at Rodgers, go for it. I think you'll see a decent amount of targets, but I prefer to have that correlation elsewhere. Williams and Adams in my cash lineup. Yeah, so I'm fine having two players from the same team especially when one of them is very cheap, the minimum at the running back position, because like Williams can score 12 points for you in cash, and that's fine, right? That's not killing your cash lineups. In GPPs, you probably want more if he's gonna be highly owned. That's not killing your cash lineups. And what is 12 points? 45 yards on the ground and catching like 4 passes for 40 yards. That's not taking away anything from Adams at all. So yeah, they can both get off. Mike Davis with Bridgewater. I'm not stacking them together, no, but I have a lot of Mike Davis. No boost to tight ends in your model because it's National Tight End Day. The tightest events. Rodgers or Herbert today? Thanks, Sal. I currently have more. Aaron Rodgers I have more of, but I like Herbert too. Do I start Justin Jackson or Gio? Any wideout under 5K that you would lock into your lineups? No. Julio or Ridley and why? Right now I have... So my latest crunch, I have 9% Julio and 7% Ridley. So... my answer to you is Julio by 2 percentage points, and the answer as to why is value, I guess. He's just getting into like 3 more lineups. There's not like a major reason why. Somebody says, Njoku. I can't see what you said. It went away. Sorry. Wide receiver page. Yeah, a lot of wide receiver interest today. A lot of them. I mean, the wide receivers should be fairly obvious. It's the good fucking wide receivers that you stack up in groups. You stack up with unique stacks and rules and all that. You get your correlation. And you're good to go from there. How do you balance great values and being a contrarian? I game stack every single one of my lineups, and I game stack them in unique ways. So, like, if I'm playing in a higher stakes stuff, I have to be focused a little bit more on what my lineups are, right? But a lot of my higher stakes contests, like I'm playing in the 777 today, there's only 178 people in there. I don't have to worry about getting insanely unique, but those people know how to stack. Those people know how to make good lineups, so I have to still be able to get unique. I don't want to be splitting the top prize. But that's easy because it's only 178 people. You build a game stack, you have one low owned guy, and you're fine. But if you're playing in a huge contest, even if Deshaun Watson is highly owned today at 10%, if I'm stacking him up with 2 of his pass catchers and running it back with 2 guys in the Packers, less than 1% of the lineups in that field, in that contest, are going to have that. And I guarantee you it's going to be like 0.1%, if that, have that type of a lineup build with just those 4 or 5 players. And then not even counting the defense I choose and the other positions, right? So I think people significantly outweigh what getting contrarian means when it comes to the NFL, MLB too. Just stacking makes it a lot easier to get contrarian. Yes, higher stakes stuff when other people stack a lot more, you have to think a little bit harder about it, but getting contrarian does not have to be that difficult. Lineup construction, the overall lineups ownership is what matters, right? And when you're going to be setting up rules to have game stacks and team stacks, you're really eliminating a lot of duplicated lineup potential, if not almost all of it, from a good amount of your lineup. So I don't really sweat it too much in my 150s because I know that the rules that I have, the projections, one, I trust my projections. The rules that I have and the groups that I have are giving me unique lineups. They're very close to unique lineups, at least on paper. And I would say the biggest tip is stop focusing on, I can't play Alvin Kamara, he's 40% owned. That does not, it matters, but it does not matter overall. Your lineup's ownership matters. Focus on the entire lineup, not Alvin Kamara. Obviously, Alvin Kamara is a great play. A lot of people are going to play Alvin Kamara. You like sweating about Alvin Kamara means absolutely nothing. You're wasting your time sweating about if you should play the really good play, the best running back play projected for 25 fantasy points in the slate. You sweating that so much is just wasting your time. Figure out the lineup, how the lineup itself is going to get different from the entire field after that. The entire lineup's ownership. Me putting in a stack of the Chiefs with Alvin Kamara, right? Right there, I'm already unique. I don't even got to worry about it. I got the best quarterback, the best running back. I got all these guys who are projecting out so highly. High ceiling on Tyreek Hill, right? I'm just using this as an example. It doesn't have to be the Chiefs. But people way too often just sweat so much. Like simple lineup decisions. Just stop worrying about one player in the lineup. Worry about the entire lineup overall. Does this lineup that I'm looking at make me unique? Does it have proper correlation in this? Where is my leverage in this lineup off of what the field's doing? So if the field is wrong, which they normally are, right? People are overconfident in their projections and their assumptions. How do I take advantage? The entire lineup, not one play. 4% Marvin Jones, no Detroit stack. I'm not getting a lot of Detroit stacks. No, I got 3% Detroit stacks. Hey, Sal, Harrison Bryant. Not sure if this has been answered. Sorry if it has. I have Harrison Bryant in 2% of my lineups. 3 overall compared to Njoku and 2. Please help. Marvin Jones or AJ Green this week need a W. In your season-long league, I would go with AJ Green. Brian Alley donates $20 Rooskies to the stream. Too kind, this man. He says, Sal, thanks for your time and input. One big last week. Appreciate you, fella. Brian, I appreciate you as well. The super chats, very kind this today. Very kind. Deontay Johnson or Christian Kirk? I'll go with Deontay Johnson. You think Juju gets it done? I think I have 0% Juju. 0% Juju. Is Watson going to have time to throw? Yes, the Packers are not getting pressure this year. Preston Smith has evaporated off the face of the earth for the Packers. Any Dalton Schultz for you? 0% Dalton Schultz. In DraftKings, what is your ratio of points to cost at the baseline? I have no idea what you're talking about, points to cost at the baseline. Favorite value wide receiver? Based on my ownership right now to guys, value, I assume you're meaning just cheap, not point per dollar value, because the point per dollar value, the best wide receiver I have is Keenan Allen. I assume you're meaning cheap, like the actual definition of value. Keenan Allen's the answer. Cheap wide receivers, I like Randall Cobb, I like Jarvis Landry, I like MVS. I can keep going. I like Brandon Cooks, Traquan Smith to an extent. That's about it. Gabe Davis I have like 5% of. So, yeah, double-digit ownership to cheap guys is MVS, Landry, Cobb, Brandon Cooks, and the Cobb is mainly because of stacking reasons. I'm not getting double-digit ownership as him as a one-off. Same exact thing for MVS. DeAndre Swift over 16 points. I have him for about 15, 14 and a half, somewhere around there. Yalf, says Tyler. Yalf for sure, my man. PJ Erickson donates $2. He says, Kenny G projected points. You are the man. No, you are the man, sir. And we're going to check this jock market stuff in a second as we get to the half-hour point of the show. Kenny Galladay projected points for me are, let me filter this by points. Again, all my projections, rankings, everything that you need. The more informed you are, the better your chance of winning. Link down below. Galladay for 16.9 fantasy points. Masenko says, should I drop Cole or Humphreys for AJ Green? Yeah, I would drop one of them for AJ Green. Yep. Which one you're asking me to drop? I would drop Adam Humphreys for AJ Green. Is Gabriel Davis in cash viable? I don't think you need to do that. I really don't. I don't think it's the worst play you can make. Right, no John Brown today. He'll operate as a wide receiver 2 against the Jets team that is abysmal and they have a high team total. I just don't think you need to do that. So funny when Sal emphasizes and gets serious. I don't know what that means. No yes for either Julio or Calvin. Nope. I have like 9% and 7%. They're not highly owned for me. Adjustability to the hairdo? What's that mean? 5 fingers. I don't know what this man's saying. Keenan way too cheap. Agreed. Any interest in Galladay? He has a great matchup today. Yeah, he has a good matchup today. He looks okay to me. I have 7% Kenny Galladay. I'll probably be below the field. Just not getting as much Detroit stacks because that whole team is really hard to stack up outside of Galladay. Tonyan today, I have 1% Robert Tonyan today, battling injury. You have any Bernard this week? 16% Bernard. I think that'll be around the field on Bernard if I had to guess. Let's see if Jock Market's updating right now. We'll restart this if it's updating with any newer prices. So Jock Market, like the market's going to come alive in an hour. So like right when I end the stream at 11:30, I'm going to have to start going getting my shares in. So here you go. The prices are updating some more. So what this is basically telling you is fair value means that like when this price point here, the current price, starts to hit that, it's like, all right, maybe I shouldn't buy them. There's not as much value in them. Obviously, they can still score highly, but this is where you want to go. You will score more money, or you will win more money the higher player obviously has fantasy points, the higher that they finish. So obviously right now, most of these guys are going to be values on Jock Market. This is just the DFS, the sponsor of the show. Daily Fantasy Sports meets the stock exchange. Download the app down below. Helps me, helps you. You win a lot of money. Go have fun. It's a ton of fun. You can see Deshaun Watson is already getting up there in price, so you're probably going to have to pay a pretty high premium if you really want to play any Deshaun Watson this week on Jock Market. So it'll be things to watch, right? Adams will probably get there at some point. High ownership already on Metcalf and Calvin Ridley. Carson's already picking up some. So it's going to be interesting to watch. I like this a lot, kind of this layout that we can see right here. Let's go to page 2. There's a couple guys on this page. Brandon Cooks is picking up a ton already of ownership. So yeah, people are putting some high bids in on some players. Jamal Williams already above his fair value market price, although I would think Jamal Williams, my projection has him a little bit higher than this. But yeah, I think that Jerick McKinnon's going to go underrated in this format. There's going to be a lot of guys who will go a little bit underrated. But yeah, we can keep tracking this as it goes, as it gets closer to lock, so we can find some of the fair value prices. Kareem Hunt, you're going to have to pay a premium for. It's probably, honestly, not worth it. I think DeAndre Hopkins might go underrated. He's not being talked about as much, the injury keeping people off of him. So that's maybe something to watch as we continue to go through this. Let me pull up the tight ends now. Also, if you're still watching right now, hit the like button for me. Hit the subscribe button. How many people we got watching? Let's see this. We got a couple of you in here. A whole 1,025 of you in here. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy up in here right now. What's up? Evans or Claypool or DJ Moore? I will go with DJ Moore. I would be going with DJ Moore there. No yes for Galladay. He is a maybe. I have interest. He is, if I scroll down, but he's not a yes for me, no. The interest, the Y, X's, and no's, I say this to people on Patreon, like, I'm going to stop doing it because it's just going to drive people nuts. If I have a guy as a Y, maybe, or no. If I have a guy as a no, that does not mean he's not a good play. And that's going to make people go, well, what the fuck are you talking about? The Y's, yeses, and no's are my exposures in 150 maxes right now. I cannot play every good play. There is a lot of good plays that I'm not going to be able to play today because I only have 150 lineups and I don't want to have ownership, 1% ownership to every single player. What's the point of that, right? So I want to leverage things. Obviously, I want to let the optimizer tell me what's the best plays based on my projections, based on ownership, things like that. So like when you see a guy on here, be a maybe instead of a yes, do not go take that guy out automatically and just go to something else. Your context that you're using is very shallow. It's not full context. If you have questions, I can try and fill out that context, but you're basically just saying, oh, this guy's a Y and not an X for Sal's exposures. That means I can't play him in my one lineup I'm playing today. No. I'm playing 150 plus lineups today. So like when a guy is a yes compared to a no, it does not mean take out, do not take out Kenny Golladay to go play MVS, right? Don't do something like that. This is all based on me game stacking and team stacking a lot of lineups. If you have specific interest, well, that's where having the projections and rankings help on Patreon, having the game-by-game notes and the Closing Thoughts podcast, and right here, you can take advantage of asking a question. Getting 7% Golladay. Font or Hawkinson? They both look very overpriced today. I have 0% of both Fant and Hawkinson. I would choose Fant if you had to choose one. Are you interested in a Bengal stack? Yeah, I have 5% Bengal stack, so 7 lineups of my Bengal stacks. Somebody says, fade of the day, Sal's new do. What you talking about, Sal's new do? This is the same haircut I get every single time. Bald fade. And then it was probably just left a little bit longer on top. Low-owned O'Shaughnessy since no Eifert in the DK, GPP. I don't have any interest. I think there's better punts. Maybe I'm lying. Do I have any interest? Nope, I got 0% ownership. You just don't have to punt tight end today. Like, I understand if you want to and you just want to play studs everywhere else because everything's so cheap. When there's literally 5 running backs that are below 5K that are viable, very strongly viable. When there's so many wide receivers dirt cheap today. Why do I got to punt tight end? You can keep doing it. Like, I think I have 2% Harrison Bryant, so I guess I'm doing it in 3 of my lineups. But it's nowhere near as much needed. New to DFS, how to play cash games. What's the strategy? I mean, the answer is probably don't play cash games, but they're not fully solved. But yeah, you just want to look for opportunity. Opportunity that has a solid floor, but also upside. Opportunity means targets, touches, volume. Projections are making it really easy for you because it factors in all that. Any interest in Jared Cook? Yeah, Jared Cook is my highest on tight end. So yeah. Christian Kirk projection today? Question mark. Yeah, let's find some Christian Kirk. Yeah. What we got, Christian? That man Christian Kirk, man. That man Christian Kirk greater than Calvin Ridley. I got him for 11.3 fantasy points today. Traquan Smith will do something. We'll have a lot of touches. All right. I mean, he'll probably see like 6 targets, and if he can find the end zone, he'll be worth it. Jonnu Smith is the best value tight end today, by far. Next best is Darren Fells. Oof, I cannot imagine having that take today, but that's fair. Jonnu Smith, in my tight end values, is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14th overall value today. Obviously, if he scores a touchdown, that goes much higher, but I'm not going to project him for 16 fantasy points. Cincinnati, Cleveland, a sneaky shootout. I think if you're on the Cincinnati side, it could be. A.J. Dillon interest? Somewhat, not really. I mean, like, I have ownership to A.J. Dillon. I have him projected for 10 fantasy points, but I have a lot of other running backs looking like better value plays today. So A.J. Dillon on most slates at 10 fantasy points for 4,000 will look good, but when another running back in his exact backfield has a better overall usage in his offense and is the same price, I'm going to get there. So I've got, over A.J. Dillon today, I've got like 17 other running backs. So yeah, I'm not going to get there. I got one lineup with him. What's your top play on Superdraft today? Ayo, shout out Superdraft. Superdraft today is going to be, what position? Any love for Gurley? I don't have any right now. I'm not going to have any. What do you think about Hunter Henry? Think he's a pretty good tight end. Think that I got 5%, 8 lineups. Probably below the field, though. Does Bell have any value in DFS at only 4,400? Not on this slate. No way. Unless Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets hurt in like 20 minutes. No. Even if we saw Bell last week have 10 touches, I still wouldn't want to play Bell compared to the other running backs there. Somebody says Jones is not out. Correct. Not out yet. I would say 99% probably going to be out. What makes Jarvis Landry a strong play today? No Austin Hooper. He's just cheap. He's $4,600, and I have him projected for like 7 targets. So that's what's going to make him a better play. Like the actual reasoning behind the projections and how I see the increased role and all that. Austin Hooper gone, giving him his normal target share, bumping it up like barely a percentage point at $4,600 at a cheap price point. Like based on what I have him projected at, he should be like $5,200. Kenyon Drake or Gio in cash? Drake. AJ Brown or DK Metcalf today? I have not a lot of either. If you're building one lineup and starting it off, I would try to go to DK, but he's obviously more expensive. What is your best finish in the Millie Maker, Sal? Don't really play Millie Maker much. I put like 3 lineups in there. Week 4 when I won this almost 18,000. Week 4, right? The Dallas game. I mean, all the Dallas games fucking went off. That week was my best finish in the Millie Maker. I just put whatever 3 max lineups I play. One of those is usually my single entry. I put those in the Millie Maker because I have no interest in playing the Millie Maker or anything more than that. Burning my money even doing that. But we finished like 120 something in the Millie Maker. That was definitely my best finish. But yeah, I just could care less about the Millie Maker. And if you're brand new here, then you don't have the rants of my past stuff. But I mean, it's just a lottery system that helps my content because $1 million, people want to play DraftKings. People want to look it up. But actually playing it, rather find like the 777 is much tougher competition, but I have to beat 177 people, not 100,000 people. Any love for Zeke? Yeah, I think Zeke is one of the best plays in the slate. Leverage-wise, I think Zeke is one of the best plays in the slate. I think lineups that have Zeke and Alvin Kamara are not necessary by any means, but they're going to be well under-owned today when there's so many cheap running backs and wide receivers. The contrarian build is to play Zeke and Alvin Kamara. That's a contrarian build if you're playing one lineup. That's a way to get different. They obviously both have 30-plus point upside. There's obviously a lot of other running backs, right? Kareem Hunt, who's cheaper and projects out similar to Zeke. Mike Davis, all these other guys. So, like, salary-wise, yeah, there's a reason why Zeke's lower owned because you don't have to pay for him this week to get a highly and nice projected running back. But if you want a contrarian build, it's pay up for running back in both spots. Julio, Diggs, or Holiday today? Diggs for me. Kyler Murray will make you a millionaire today. Probably not. What is a great defense to use today? Just probably the cheap ones. I don't know. I've got ownership to like 12 different defenses, a lot of the cheap ones. I mean, Washington's the best point per dollar defense, but they're also going to be the highest owned. So the cheap ones, I'm fine playing the Jets if it gives me everything else I need. If Aaron Jones is out, Hunt or Connor to replace. If you have a chalky lineup, Connor. Otherwise, Hunt. I mean, Hunt's going to be one of the highest owned players in the slate. So if you can get different elsewhere, then you should be good. I don't think I missed the super chat. I'm just checking because there's so many fucking messages coming in. Sunday morning. What's up? What's going on? Do you have exposure to Timothy Patrick today? 1% Tim Patrick. 1% a Tim Patrick. Let me look at this. I think we're good. I think Robert Ulrich donated $5. I wanted to make sure we didn't miss that. I don't think he had a question. He says, who are your Denver run back options? Jerry Jeudy and Tim Patrick, basically. That's basically it. Fading Kamara. All right. Best of luck to you. I mean, fading Kamara, if you're playing one lineup, yeah, you don't got to play him. If you're playing 150 and you have 0 Kamara, some balls. Is Fells in play today? Yeah, Fells looks pretty good to me. Not highly owning him, but I got 11 lineups with Darren Fells. So he's just a nice cheap option to get exposure to that game in stacks. Thoughts on Fuller? I mean, I think Fuller looks fine. I think he's going to go way too under-owned. I mean, Will Fuller has been, when he's out there and healthy, top 5 wide receiver this year in the NFL, right? Like, the one game he's hurt, he scores 0 points, so everybody's not looking at him the same. You take that game out where he's literally hurt, but he scores 0 points. Every other game, he's absolutely dominating. I'm not scared of Jair Alexander for Will Fuller. No, Jair Alexander has been overrated by much of the fantasy community, PFF, all this other shit. He shut down Mike Evans, who Mike Evans has been bad for every cornerback that's faced him. He's been shut down by pretty much every cornerback. And then he quote-unquote shut down Calvin Ridley, who had basically 70 yards and a touchdown on 2 catches, overthrown and underthrown from Matt Ryan. So, I mean, both those receivers were Calvin Ridley was able to get away from Jair Alexander enough. I think Will Fuller is better than Calvin Ridley, so yeah. How big is your player pool, excluding defenses somewhere in the 90s? Fuller shadowed by Alexander. I mean, he might see him 60% of the time. Nobody's ever going to see a cornerback 100%, 90%. Maybe he sees 70%. But even then, I'm not concerned. Like, I'm just not concerned with that. Building one lineup. Who would be your 3 running backs? Building one cash lineup. I'd put Amon Green in all 3 spots. Herbert today, question mark? Yeah, I got some Herbert. I got 3%. Any David Johnson? David Johnson's actually interesting. I only have 6%. I'll be below the field, but it would be nice to get a little bit more David Johnson. I'm just not going to. So Yeah, David Johnson looks really good. Do you think the snow will hurt the Chiefs' throwing game? The passing game, it might hurt. I don't know about what they're throwing, but the passing game, maybe. The game total and the team total for the Chiefs has dropped by 3.2 points so far, so that's a concern, right? That's a concern. So yeah, based on Vegas, they're saying this is going to impact the passing game. So they still have a 25.5 team total, so I still have interest in Chiefs stacks. I have right now 8% Chiefs stacks, which should be above the field. Logan Thomas, question mark. I have Logan Thomas in 0% of my lineups. Change to the running back stream before I start hitting stuff. JV, take it easy, man. Put your girlfriend or wife in another room. Take it easy. Jackson and Williams too cute for cash. I would not play Justin Jackson in cash. COVID-19 for the tightest events except Tyler Croft. Do we play him? No, 0%. How do I feel about Mike Williams? I think I got 5%, mainly in my stacks. Some of my stacks, 5% Mike Williams. Who projects higher for you, Gabriel Davis or Traquan Smith? That's going to be Traquan Smith. Godwin or Cup? Godwin. Okay to stack Favre with Amon Green and Donald Driver, or should I fade? I wouldn't put Amon Green with Favre there. I mean, that's just not something I would do. Depending on when you're stacking, which era, I would maybe go Greg Jennings there. Maybe Jermichael Finley to try and get unique at tight end within your stack. One lineup, who's your QB? Either Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, or Patrick Mahomes. Sal, you're the man. Green Bay running back situation. Good luck, buddy. Thanks, Jeff E. I would say that Jamal Williams and AJ Dillon see similar work on the ground today. I would think that Jamal Williams sees all the passing game work. So I have, at the same price point, more interest in Jamal Williams. I have Williams projected for over 15 fantasy points. I have AJ Dillon for about 10. Are you big on Kyler? I have 11%. I'll be at or below the field. Hey, Sal, thanks for pumping Jock Market. I tossed $20 into it and turned it into $300 so far, says Alex. Yo, what's up? Yeah, yo. Hey, we're 40 minutes into this stream. We're like halfway through. If you have not yet taken 2 seconds of your goddamn time today, 2 of them, and just hit the link in the description to Jock Market. Go to the app and download it for 2 seconds while you're listening to this stream. Helps me out, but it's a very fun format. I'm telling you, it is going to be the future of this stuff. You might as well get in now before it starts to get overcrowded, overpopulated. We'll check in on the prices on Jock Market in a second. In cash, eat the chalk defense, or does it still not matter? I mean, yeah, do whatever you want in cash for. Don't worry about the ownership. Watson, Kamara, Adams, and Cook for cash sounds solid. Sounds good. Yeah, I mean, they sound okay. They sound good. Thanks for everything, Sal. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Season long. Fade. 1. Robert Woods, Traquan Smith, or Marvin Jones. I'd be fading there. Let's fade Marvin Jones. Higgins or Shark, PPR. I go Higgins. AJ Dillon or AJ Green. AJ Green. Gio or Singletary. Gio. Can you play a tight end standalone with no stack today and feel comfortable? Yeah, you can. Yep. Is Hopkins too scary this week? No. Is it okay to have 2 Saints and 2 Packers in cash? So you're basically asking me, can you play Jamal Williams, Davonte Adams, Alvin Kamara, and Jared Cook? That seems fine. Sal's the man. More Mclaren. More. Ridley or Diggs? Diggs. Kirk or Jay Jackson in the flex? Oh, man, that is rough. I'll go with Kirk. Hunter Henry or Jared Cook? Jared Cook. Caress the like button. Gently, gently, gently take both of your hands underneath that like button. Lift it up and double tap that bad boy. Jock Market is so fun, to be honest, says Spaceman. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun. I'm happy that a lot of people in the community are enjoying it. I only try to partner up with companies that, 1, they have actual quality products, right? Like you go to the app and it's a good app. It makes sense. It's easy to work through. 2, the game makes sense, fun. I think it's going to be something that's innovative and my community likes. And 3, and probably the most important, is that the people behind it are in it for the right reasons. Want to partner with me and my community for the right reasons. Let me do the content that I want to do, and then we kind of gel together in a partnership. And that's everything with Jock Market right now, so it's a ton of fun. Tight end page, please, says Taylor. Yeah, we go to the tight end page, man. I got you. Then Taylor puts in all caps tight end page. Taylor. Lower your voice, take it easy, pipe down, and just sit down and relax. Look. We're all going to die in the end, Taylor. You're not going to die today. Not this 2 seconds. So the 5 seconds before your comments, don't worry. You're still breathing. Gio Bernard or Swift? I have Swift projected for more fantasy points. Gio Bernard is by far the better value. Thoughts on McKinnon and the GPP? Yeah, Lawrence Rose. I would suggest watching my That One Dude video. I talk in depth about McKinnon. That is probably my favorite video. That is not a live stream because I like the interaction here that I make each week. That One Dude is becoming quickly one of my most popular, if not my most popular video upload based on the time that it goes out. Just for being out one day, it hits very big numbers. So yeah, be sure to check that out. I'm going to drop the link to the Patreon down below because I saw somebody ask about what's on Patreon. Patreon basically is just where you can get My projections, rankings, ownership, hopefully this week. Hopefully. I'm just waiting on the email, sign some notes, sign some dots, get some data that I need for it. 20 pages of game-by-game notes, showdown information, closing thoughts podcast, data on recaps as the next week starts up. A lot of stuff on there. Check it out. A lot of people having a good time. Man needs more than 79 likes. I think we got like 100 and 200 and something likes. I think your screen just might not be updated. Best Super Draft quarterback today. Yeah, so if you're going to play on Super Draft today, which is a very fun format, you could use just my name, promo code SAL, to get yourself 50% deposit match up to $1,000 Rooskies. They're not sponsoring this, but people are going to ask about it. Deshaun Watson is, let me see my best Super Draft quarterback, either Herbert, Bridgewater, or Brady. Grayed out as my best plays. They're all for the same points. Diggs or Fuller today? I like Diggs more today. Obviously, this is assuming that we're just talking one-offs. We're not talking about stacks, because if you have Watson, go Fuller. If you have Allen, go Diggs. But if you don't have either of those quarterbacks, I would go with Diggs. Who's a sleeper under $1,000 today? I don't know what you want me to do with that. Chris Carson or James Conner? I have more Conner. Can you play a cheap tight end standalone with no quarterback and feel fine? Yeah, I answered that earlier, yes. Any interest in OBJ today? No. I have more interest in Landry, but OBJ is going to be unowned today. He's going to be absolutely unowned. I have two lineups at OBJ. I kind of want more. I'm kind of tempted to put OBJ into one of my 3 max lineups because he's just going completely unowned in a very good matchup. Fells or Hurst in my season-long league today? Hurst. Unreal. This dude doesn't drink coffee. I don't know what you're talking about. 2 cups of coffee this morning, but just 1 scoop, so it's just to get more flavor. I just like the flavor and the hotness of coffee. I don't need the caffeine. I really don't need the caffeine. Thoughts on Ronald Jones? No interest today. Pick 2 for my season long. Antonio, Gibson, McKinnon, and Woods. Woods and McKinnon. Is Hopkins playing? Yes. I mean, there's not an official statement until the 4 o'clock games, I believe, right? The night game. So you're not going to get official news, but everything points towards yes. Have you been out on Lake Norman and seen your future home yet? I don't know what Lake Norman is. Good morning, Sal. When maxing a 20 max contest, what is the number of QBs you would use? It's up to you. Depends. I mean, like the clear answer that sounds nice. The sweet spot is 2 to 3. But if you don't care about risk, go 1 to 2, right? If you are more willing to take on risk, go 1 to 2. Just put all your eggs into 1 or 2 baskets. It's up to your the way that you want to play. There's no magic number for how many quarterbacks to have in a 20 max. It really is dependent on the week as well. This week you're probably going to have more balanced ownership than any other week so far this season to your quarterbacks. Lockett or Galladay? I have more Lockett right now. I joined Hall of Fame yesterday because I watch your golf. And I have to tell you, Sal, I keep going from winning money 60 to winning over 1K in the golf contest. You're accurate. Thank you, Jim. Hey, Jim. Jim signs up for the Hall of Fame pack on Patreon and goes out there and wins $1,000 Rooskies in golf. Shout out to you, Jim. Shout out to projections. Ryan or Herbert? I have more Ryan, but very similar amounts of both, I would say. Ziggy just joined Patreon. I wonder if Ziggy's watching this stream right now. Shout out Ziggy joining the club. We got some other people. Quentin and Chris Tab joining Patreon. Just happened within the past 15 minutes. Shout out to you guys joining the club. Who will see Cooks today? Will he see Kevin King? He's going to see both Jair and Kevin King. So this is the thing about outside cornerbacks. Even if they're the best cornerbacks in the league, they don't play 100% of the time on the one wide receiver you think they're going to play on, right? That's not how it works. Stephon Gilmore does not shadow Davonte Adams 100% of the time. It might be 80% of the time, and that's a lot. Like shadow quarterbacks hitting 80% of the time is a lot. It's never 100% of the time. So Brandon Cooks today might see 40% Jair Alexander and 60% Kevin King, or like 40% Kevin King, 20% Chandler Sullivan if he goes into the slot, right? Don't get too crazy about this. Jair Alexander for the last 2 weeks has shut down Mike Evans, who stinks, and Calvin Ridley, yes, but Calvin Ridley had 70 yards and a touchdown on 2 catches over and underthrown to him. Jair Alexander is good. He might be on Will Fuller 60% of the time. I don't think that's a terrible matchup for Will Fuller. I really don't. I would like it to be somebody else, right? I'd like to be a terrible cornerback, but then he would be highly owned. So if Will Fuller is going to be single-digit owned today because he's more expensive, $6,800, which he should be. He's been one of the 5 best wide receivers every single week that he plays so far this season. That's like basically undeniable in my opinion. And now he's going up against Jair Alexander, and that's lowering his ownership, where his quarterback is an underdog and historically balls out as an underdog and 27 implied team total. Yeah. Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks, I'm not too worried about them today. I think they're going to be just fine. Any interest in Logan Thomas? No. Any Perriman or Barrios GPP? I guess I have Logan Thomas as an X here because I have, I think, 1 lineup with him, or my old thing I had 1, but I mean, I'm not going to get much. Callaway or G. Davis? Who the fuck is Callaway? Like Marquez Callaway? It's going to be Davis for me. He's actually good at football. Any Perriman or Barrios? Nah, I don't want any of those dumpster fires. I got some Jeff Smith, though. Recommendation for good decaf. I don't have any recommendations for good decaf. I just buy, like, Folgers decaf and have it sometimes. In the mornings, I usually just have normal Folgers, but I should just switch to decaf because, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of caffeine. Who's your Cardinal stack? Who's my Cardinal stack? I got 11 lineups with them, so I'm sure that I'm going to have DeAndre Hopkins and Christian Kirk in most of those. Maybe an Andy Isabella falls in there. Do I have any Andy Isabella? I have 1% Larry Fitzgerald, no Andy Isabella, 2% Kirk, and I have 14%. 19% Hopkins. So Hopkins is now my fifth highest one. Great content, Sal. Any interest in Justin Jackson? I had a lot of interest until some of these really good running backs like Jamal Williams and Giovanni Bernard opened up. I now have 11% Justin Jackson, so still interest, yeah. Thoughts on Traquan Smith? I think he'll be over-owned for his actual talent and ability. A.J. Brown, a good start today? That's a good question. I don't even remember seeing A.J. Brown at all in anything I was doing today. A.J. Brown, I have 0% of. Interesting. I don't know why he wouldn't be in my projections. Let me just make sure that he's not in my projections and that I'm not getting him for some odd reason. I got A.J. Brown projected for 13.8 fantasy points. I'm just not getting any. Yeah, it's not for me, I guess. Any interest in Deontay Johnson? Yes, I have interest in Deontay Johnson. I think he's a very strong play today. The issue is obviously the health. Is he going to be healthy? Is he going to come out for the third time this season? I have him projected for over 11 fantasy points. Pretty ignorant for just sitting there doing nothing, says Rob Kohler. I don't know who he's talking about. Zeke or Kamara? I like Zeke more, or I like Kamara more ownership-wise, but I have a lot of Zeke. Any James Robinson? James Robinson, yeah, I think I have like 4%, 5%, something like that. Is there a way to invest in Jock Market? Invest in it? What do you mean? You can put your real dollars into Jock Market. There's also a free contest. Are you talking about, like, what do you mean invest in it? You literally invest. Like, that's what you do. You buy stocks on them. If you're talking about, like, investing in the company, no, they're a private company. You can't invest in them unless they give you stock, which don't think that's something that is beneficial to them. No love for Fuller, says Eric. Eric, if you just got in, just rewind it about 3 minutes. I just went on a rant about how much better of a play Fuller is than everybody else is seeming to believe. Justin Jackson or Chris Godwin? Godwin. Diggs or Julio? In cash, Diggs. A.J. Brown has injury questions, correct. Is Henry and Allen too much exposure to one team? I don't think so. Corey Davis, the one? Nah. No Ronald Jones. I have maybe 1% Ronald Jones. I have 0% Ronald Jones. Are Bernard and Jonathan Williams cash plays are better for tournaments? I think both are fine in both formats. There's a lot of really good running backs in Kamara, in Zeke, in Mike Davis, in Kareem Hunt. There's a lot of really good running backs. So if you're playing two of the cheap ones in cash, you're not getting exposure to those guys. You just have to weigh your options. So, yeah. Heading outside, thanks for everything. You too, man. Hopkins playing. We don't have official word, but all the reports seem to indicate that DeAndre Hopkins will be playing. But again, don't hold that against me because there's no official reporting until the game tonight. We have almost 1,200 people in here. Yo, take 2 seconds of your time. Hit the like button. We're getting oh so close. I know every single one of you isn't subscribed to this channel. Just like 58% of people are, which is a really high number for YouTube. Most of the time, it's below 50. But if you have 2 seconds of your time, hit that subscribe button. Literally 2 seconds. Bottom right-hand corner. Deontay Johnson or James Washington? Deontay. Any lock button wide receivers in cash? No. Who wins Pats or 49ers? Just joined. Who wins that game? I would say that the Pats do. Eric Ebron or Fant? I'll go Ebron. Kyle Allen, no interest. Need two. Kamara, Jay Williams, and Hunt. Kareem Hunt and McKinnon. Kamara and Williams. You like Gibson in a GPP? I think I have 0%. So no Gibson for me. Any Chase Claypool today? Chase Claypool for me today is going to be a no. 0%. 1%. He's literally the last guy on my fantasy crunch that I scrolled down to. Terry McLaurin or Chase Claypool? McLaurin. Lockett or Hill today? I have more ownership to Tyreek Hill today, and I'm very happy about that. I'm going to be about 3 times the field on Tyreek Hill. I have about 17% right now. Feels like a pretty good leverage spot. He is that one dude at the wide receiver position this week. Yes, he is. Best flex play by around $6,500. Depends on the rest of your lineup. The individual player does not matter as much as the rest of your lineup, ownership-wise, stacking-wise. Keenan Allen at wide receiver, Chris Godwin at wide receiver. Those guys stand out to me. Running backs, Kareem Hunt stands out to me in that range. Mike Davis stands out to me. James Conner stands out to me. Chris Carson stands out to me in that range. Right? Tight ends is the only guys that are in that range. Any Le'Veon Bell today? No shot. Thoughts on Henderson? No interest. Darrell Henderson? My thoughts on him? Is he even on the slate? I don't think so. Pats are losing. Her nuke would still play with an arrow in his knee. Yeah, I would believe it too. Keenan plus Fells or Ridley plus Njoku? Keenan plus Fells for me. Switching Cooks for Fuller right now. Hope it doesn't backfire. Yeah, I like both. I have more Cooks than Fuller, but I like both a good amount, almost equal. Shark or Gibson? Shark. Carson or Davis? I have more Davis. Just got off the stationary bike for an hour. What did I miss? Hey, that sounds nice. I actually forgot that my gym at my apartment opened like a month ago because I have a gym membership. I really got to use it. I've just been running a lot because the weather's still been nice here. It was 82 degrees yesterday here in the end of October. It's just crazy. It makes me not want to move away from here. We got to figure that out. Appreciate the content, bro. Wide receiver page. But you missed, I don't know, everything. But I'm going to go. I wanted to run, but it's raining. So once I'm done with the show, I'm going to try and get a quick run and maybe like a quick 5 miles or something. It's freezing here in Colorado. Best to stick with a tight end than running back. Yeah, cold's not going to affect the passing game. Wind will, though. Who do you like outside of Hopkins and a Murray stack? Christian Kirk. Melvin Gordon or Deontay Johnson today? Deontay Johnson. Pick one. Jamal Williams, Fuller, or Godwin? Ooh, you giving me a tough one. Godwin. Thoughts on Kittle being blanketed by New England? Yeah, it'll probably happen. I have Kittle projected for 15.8 fantasy points, and I don't have much Kittle. I do not have much Kittle. A lot of the times, if I just go for a one-off tight end, it'll be a cheaper one, unless I'm stacking. I have 4% Kittle. Any love Bell? No. Deontay Johnson getting concussed today? I really do hope not for his sake. Are you in Florida? Question mark? No. Do you like Hunt today? I like him a lot. I got 37%. Sal, do you ever wonder if your videos have so much influence that they affect player projections and final outcomes? Zero. I don't even care about fantasy or DFS or any of that enough to care if what I'm saying in my videos is going to influence ownership. If 1,000 people watch one of my videos, I'm sure 3 or 4 people at least are going to take that information and build some lineups based off of it, right? So to an extent, it probably does. I don't think it factors it anywhere near. But yeah, I just don't ponder those things. Like once I'm done with whatever video and content and work I have to do for that day, I'm just breathing that stuff. Like I'm not just breathing like, damn, did I affect? Like I'm sitting there pondering, like, did I affect the ownership in this content? Like I really don't care. Dontrell Inman question mark? Not for me. Can you elaborate on why Scantling is a yes for you? Yeah, because I have Aaron Rodgers stacks and I have a lot of Watson stacks. So he is like. Again, earlier, if you see somebody as a yes for me, it does not mean put them in your lineup as a yes. This is based on my 150 max exposures that have like 11 rules in place and a ton of groups. Scantling is $4,100. I get above 10% of him. That's why my yeses are my yeses. I get above 10% of him, and I have him in a run back option with a lot of Watson stacks. That's good correlation. I have him a lot of my Aaron Rodgers stacks. That's good correlation. He's been bad since week 1. Well, you want to know the analysis to that? Davonte Adams has been out since week 1 until last week when they had a really tough matchup. And Aaron Rodgers was bad. Now it's the complete opposite. No concerns about Godwin's health. Seems like it affected him last week. Nope. I can't project that in. Same exact thing. Julio Jones last week, right? Everybody concerned about his health. I'm going to project it as if he's normal, and that's what he did. With Darnold back, Crowder out, and White on Perriman, would you stack Smith, Berrios, and Darnold? Never in my life. Thoughts on the Bills? Jets are that one awful dude. Yeah, I don't have much interest in the Bills outside of Diggs. I'm getting a lot of Diggs, 25%. Outside of that, just 3% Josh Allen's. You always help me. I take notes. Nice. AC/DC or Van Helen? I don't listen to either, but I'm sure they're great. Jamal Williams or Gio? Jamal Williams. Herbert, DK, Zeke, or Kyler, Devontae, and Gurley? The first one. Carson, Jacobs, or James Robinson? Carson. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you as well. What's going on with Aaron Jones? He's probably not going to play. Jamal Williams or A.J. Dillon? I prefer Jamal Williams. Kirk or Mike Williams? Kirk. Sal, how are you handling Jones and Williams' situation? I don't think Jones is playing. I'm playing a lot of Jamal Williams. I have 65% Jamal Williams. Bucks didn't need to pass. Correct. Odell or Moore? I have more. Do you know why the night game is on the DK slate? Yes, the night game got moved from 4 o'clock to the night slate. The original night game got switched because of COVID concerns. So they didn't want to take the night game off. The night game that is currently the night game was a 4 o'clock game, and they didn't want to adjust everything for people that were already making content. And I'm sure just it was a really good game anyway, so they're going to get more action now. I think they should always have the night game on the main slate. That's how it used to be, 4 years ago? Henry running routes or blocking? Hunter Henry is going to be running routes. Aaron Jones active? We don't know the status of Aaron Jones for another 32 minutes, but I would assume he's not going to be. Haircut looks good. Thanks, Dominic. I appreciate that. Can you switch to the running back page? Yeah, so I think I've ran every single week 2 quarterback with 2 of his pass catchers, wide receiver and tight ends, running back with 1 to 2 guys on the other's team. That's what I'd like to do. New sub here, says Jerry. Jerry, welcome. Nice to meet you, Jerry Vega. How you doing? Yeah, if you're a new sub, if you're just finding me through this one, or if you're just finding me not a sub, take a second of your time, hit the subscribe button. But let me know if you're just finding me through this video. I appreciate that. You feeling Antonio Gibson against sketchy Cowboys D? Plus, it's a rainy one. I see the reasoning to like it, but I'm not going to. But I see the leverage. Or not even the leverage, just the low owned. What's up, Sal? MVS, Landry, or T. Higgins? What's up, Mike? Yeah, it depends on your lineup. Like, if you have Rodgers or Watson, I would be very inclined to MVS. Otherwise, Landry, if you don't have any of their quarterbacks or run back options. Gio/Jamal backfield as your running backs. I mean, I guess you can go there. I much prefer Jamal, but yeah. Cooks or Higgins? Cooks. Any Zach Moss? Nah. Who would you pair Jamal Williams with that running back? Zeke, Kamara, or Elliott? If I'm picking one, Kamara. Tyler Kroft after tight end squad being shut down due to COVID? Nah. What's a good defense for this week? The cheap ones. I know defense doesn't matter, but Traquan Smith and Jets or Gabe Davis and the Washington defense. I don't care about the defenses, so I look at the wide receivers only. I would go Traquan Smith. James Robinson or Swift? Swift. Would you play T. Higgins or Keenan Allen? Keenan Allen pretty easily. Better projected right now, Tyreek Hill or DK Metcalf? I believe Tyreek Hill is my higher projected player out of those two. I have a higher projection right now on Tyreek Hill. Let's see what Jock Market's prices are, because we got an hour until this bad boy locks, so shit's about to start flying all over the fucking place. All right. We got Tom Mullins in the chat being a pervert. That's gross. Ridley or pervert alert. Pervert alert on Tom Mullins. Jesus Christ, man. Tim Patrick or Judy as a comeback? Probably Judy. Why isn't Derrick Henry on your running back board? He's on there. Oh, no, he's a no. He's a no. I don't have any interest. McKinnon or Mike Williams? McKinnon. Giovanni Bernard or Swift? I have more Gio, but I have Swift projected for more points. Galladay or Allen? Allen. Deontay Johnson too thin for cash? Borderline. So the prices are here. The prices are right now. They're like updating because we're in the final hour of Jock Market. Again, the sponsor of the program, as we're a half hour until I'm off this stream and less than an hour until lock right now. Check out Jock Market. Link down below. So value that you're going to find on Jock Market right now, Andy Dalton is going to be very much a value with an hour left to go. I'm sure this will fill. Andy Dalton looks like a pretty nice value play. Not much buzz on Mike Davis. I understand why. I'm trying to find some more values that are going to be a little bit lower for us. Not much buzz on Chris Godwin so far yet. That's interesting. I still want to be tracking what's happening down here. Brandon Cooks is still picking up some ownership. Not much love for Jerick McKinnon. Already mentioned that I liked him earlier. So we got to keep tracking this. So basically what you're seeing here, this is the current price of what the players are trading at. This fair value is what you, basically if it's below that, you're going to identify it as an automatic value. It doesn't mean if it's above it that it's not a fine option, but you're not getting as much value on it more times than not, right? It's not your 5x value in the NBA, which is also a bad metric. So yeah, check out Jock Market. Link down below. The app is literally down below. It takes 2 seconds of your time. See what you got going on. I don't like the shadow on me. I think I left my fan light on. Just the worst. A big old shadow. Somebody says, why not Derrick Henry? Henry or Cook? Why not Derrick Henry? Got all the other guys projecting out a lot better. Don't get Derrick Henry. I don't even have Derrick Henry projected out that decently. I mean, you need Derrick Henry to score 2 touchdowns and do what he did last week to hurt you in a GPP at his price tag. If Derrick Henry last week had 12 fantasy points, he had 12 fantasy points with 7 minutes left in the game. He finishes with 40 plus fucking fantasy points because of like a crazy final 7 minutes in overtime. Derrick Henry scores 100 yards and a touchdown today and has 18 fantasy points. I'm fine, right? I'm fine. It's when he goes for 120 and 2 touchdowns that I'm sitting there going, shit. And even then I could be fine, depending on what Kamara, Zeke, Davis, some of these other guys do. But I don't have much interest in Derrick Henry. He does not grade out as a quality play for me today. Derrick Henry is currently my 20th overall running back play, and at that price tag, I just don't get there. Any or no interest in Ronald Jones? No interest. Galladay or Allen? Allen. Jamal Williams or Swift? Jamal Williams. Gordon or Gurley today? Ugh, I have 0% of both. If you force me to pick one, I'd say Gurley. Touchdown upside seems more likely. Any reason to pivot off the Mahomes Hill stack because of the weather? It's up to you. It is up to your risk tolerance. The overall total for the Chiefs games has come down from 29 to about 25.5 or 28.75 to 25.5. So it's definitely not going to affect the game based on Vegas. I have 50-ish lineups built around Aaron Jones. He's not going to play, but smarter to just sub in Conner, Davis, or Hunt to play Williams, or play Williams and redo the lineups. I would redo all the lineups. If Aaron Jones is the biggest piece of news that we've had in 2020 so far for football, in terms of how it's going to affect the slates, it makes the best value play in the slate open up if he's out in Jamal Williams. So just to only take out Aaron Jones and put him in with somebody else at his price point is not a way to capitalize on the situation. You have insanely new information that changes the entire context of the slate. Gives you a $4,000 running back that I have projected out to produce as if he's $6,500 today, right? So you redo all your lineups. Is playing both Bernard and Williams stupid? No, I don't think so. I don't think it's optimal, but I don't think it's stupid. Landry admitted he's playing through a broken rib. Doesn't that change your projection? Does that change your projection? No, it doesn't. He's not projected out like for an insane amount of fantasy points, so no, it doesn't. Any interest in Tyler Boyd with the Browns being terrible defending the slot? Yeah, I have 4%. I have interest. Sal, is Animal Kingdom the best show on TV, and who takes over, Family, Pope, or Jay? I don't know what either of those questions means. Ridley or Diggs? I have more Diggs. Kelsey went crazy last no game. Yeah, exactly. So did Mahomes. So did this entire Chiefs team. So I'm not too concerned about it. I'm heavy on Henry. Is this a mistake? Depends how heavy. If you're like 80%, probably. But depends. Who's your dart throw today? I mean, maybe Jerick McKinnon, but I only have like 4% of him compared to the field at 1%. I mean, relative to the field, I'm going to have like 70% Jamal Williams. So I don't really have like dart throws. I'm sure like Tyreek Hill is going to be low owned. I have a lot of him. But if you're asking me for like a $3,000 player that I have ownership to, you're not going to find that. I just don't play terrible plays. I don't try and throw a dart and get lucky, right? That just seems like a way to lose your money long term. Just like guessing on the shitty players is a good way to get a shitty player and lose money. Claypool or Juju? Claypool if I had to pick one. Newton ? Yeah, Newton stuff because his team sucks. So you'd have to run him naked really to get the most upside, I think, like strategy wise. Build a really nice lineup and then run Newton naked. I only have 4%. But yeah, it's kind of hard when Newton sucks, right? What do we got in here? Over 1,100 people. Y'all are crazy motherfuckers. What's up, yo? How y'all doing? What are y'all trying to do today? What are y'all trying to do? You trying to win $1 million today? You trying to do that? What is your goal today, right? A nice Sunday. It's raining by me. Fuck that. But maybe it's nice by you. What is your goal? Let me know what your goal is today. Your realistic goal, right? I'm not. What's your realistic goal? And if you got confidence in winning $1 million, say it. But what's your realistic goal? Who will get the goal line work for the Packers? If I had to guess, it would be split. If I had to guess. Humphreys or Cobb? Cobb. Higgins or Boyd? I have more Boyd. Is Bridgewater throwing for 300 plus? I would not project him for that. Chris Herndon, will he be a top tight end today? I'm not going to have him up there. Love your takes. Thank you. Appreciate it. Tonyan, I have 1%. Tyreek Hill or AJ Brown? Tyreek Hill by a lot for me. Sal, where is Gurley on your list? He's a no. I have 0%. Best QB for cash? Probably Brett Favre. Godwin or Tyreek Hill today? I have more Godwin, I believe. I have more Godwin, but not by a lot. 5% more Godwin. If I win the $1 million, I'm tossing you $50K, my man. This man said he's going to give me $50K if he wins the $1 million, AJ Simpson. You don't got to give me anything, but I also highly doubt you give me $50K. That's a lot of fucking money. My goal today is to kick this COVID, Sal. Hey. Everybody, let's do a little pat on the back. Let's do a little finger snaps for our guy, way too legit, getting through the COVID. My goal is to get at least $5K. Nice. Win some money. There you go. Love to make a down payment on the new house today. Hey, there you go, Alex. Shout out you. Big stuff there. My goal is to get a $100 win, says Hayden Jones. Very nice, very nice. Traquan Smith or Higgins? I'll go Higgins. Robbie Anderson not being talked about enough. I have 9% Anderson, and he's going to be owned. Anderson should be like 12 to 15% owned. Goal is to have a good Sunday. I like that. Ronald Jones projection for you, sir. My Ronald Jones projection, courtesy of my Patreon projections, 12.9 fantasy points. Brian Allen donates $5 to the stream. He says, trade Zeke, Ridley, Judy for Kamara, AJ Green, and Mike Williams. I would not do that trade. Stack the wide receiver so won't miss Ridley. I would not do that trade, no. Thoughts on Justin Jackson over Gurley? I like that over Gurley, yes. Any Washington stacks in Zeke lineups? Yeah, no. Never. QB page, please, good sir. Yeah. Which two Pitt pass catchers would you stack with Roethlisberger? I wouldn't stack it. That's why I don't have Pitt stacks. But Deontay Johnson would be my number one option. Probably Claypool second. Sal, Fells or Hurst? Fells. I'll go Hurst unless you're doing some sort of a stack with Green Bay and Houston. Trying to profit anything over $1,000 so I can invest that shit. Nice. My goal is to get ripped as hell and hopefully win the milli. Hey, shout out to you. Get swole, man. Curls for the girls. Trap City. Goal to win my 5-man DK contest for free. Will you settle on PayPal to avoid the juice? 100-man, 1 point. Full slate. Nice. Any interest in Saints wide receiver other than Smith? I don't think so. don't think I'm going to play around with the dust at the bottom. I mean, I like Cook and I like Kamara. I don't have to play around with the dusty old other guys at the bottom. So, no, just Traquan. Feel better, the dude with COVID. There you go. What fantasy simulator do you use? I use my own projections. I use Fantasy Cruncher Optimizer. What is your favorite stack and bring back on DK? I want to say Houston, bringing it back with Green Bay, but I don't really have like an overwhelming, like every other week I've had an overwhelming, last week was the Texans and Titans. The week before that, like 3 weeks before that was the Dallas game. Last week also Matt Ryan to an extent. This week there's not like an overwhelming feeling. Jamal Williams today? Yeah, we'll know in 20 minutes the inactives and actives. Brian Allen says, fellas, hit that like button. Donates $5 more Dollarooskies. This man, Brian Allen, be donated all the Dollarooskies today. I appreciate you. If you want to leave a super chat, you can. Thank you. Too kind. I need some water. Appreciate the shout. To get well, Sal. Yeah, definitely get well. Gotta drop this milli off of the bank, says Andrew. Uh-oh. Hopkins or Adams? More Adams. Hey, Sal, what's your favorite stacks today? As of right now, my highest owned stacks are Watson, are Houston, Arizona, Carolina, Kansas City, Green Bay, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, Cincinnati, and then a little bits of some other stuff. Is Cobb worth a throw if I got Watson? I don't want stacks with just Cobb and Watson, but if he's like a complementary piece, then sure. Like, I don't think just that is going to be enough correlation. But yeah, he's in my group. This will be a brutal day having to wait until the night game to see your winnings. I love it. The night game used to be every single week on the main slate, and it was fantastic. Yeah, so I love it. Especially if you're going to stack up that night game, and like you just get to watch the whole game with see all of your potential winnings increase throughout the game. In single entry, would you go Ridley or Jones? Wanted small correlation with Lions versus Falcons with my Houston game stack. Yeah, I like that idea. Let me tell you where I would go. So for my wide receivers, in terms of, let me tell you which one's optimal. So I have Julio for 18 points, 2.54 value. I have Ridley for 18.8. So I would go Ridley. My boy. Latavius Murray thoughts. I think he gets a bump. I have him for like 9-point-something fantasy points, but not going to get there. Like the stream, fellas, says Josh. Too kind. Projections for Kamara. Ooh. Kamara is close to being my highest projected play in the slate. 24.8 points. The only people that are projected for more fantasy points for me right now than Alvin Kamara is Kyler Murray and Patrick Mahomes on this slate. Those are the only guys that have projected for more points than Alvin Kamara. Mike Davis or Gurley? Davis. Cheap tight end that can score a touchdown. Probably David Njoku, 3K. How is a New Yorker a Packer fan? I mean, they're the National Football League, America's team, so I was an American and chose an American football team. My dad was a Packers fan, so was his brother who was older. They liked Bart Starr. They liked all that shit. So, yeah, Packers fan. I mean, it's really not much more to decipher other than there's 32 football teams in 50 states, and then you kind of just choose. Brian Buckley says, am I blocked, question mark? What? Tight end page, please. Yeah. Connor or Mike Davis? Fellas. Connor or Mike Davis? I got more right now, Mike Davis, but I got a lot of Connor as well. If Aaron Jones is active, would you keep him in or avoid the backfield? Yeah, I mean, I just don't think he's going to be active. If he's active, then he is going to be projected as if he's fully healthy for me. So, yeah. If Aaron Jones is active today and there's no news that says will be emergency only, like if he's active and they don't give you any news and they just say he's active, based on the Packers being very cautious with him, I would assume that he's 100% healthy and good to go. So if Aaron Jones is active today, I'm projecting him back for his 20 fantasy points. He's going to be in a lot of my lineups, probably 20+%, and everybody else is going to be too scared to play him. And I'm going to be like, why are you too scared? They literally said they're only going to let him play if he's 100% healthy. So he's playing. So if Aaron Jones is in there and healthy, I'm starting him as if he's in there and healthy. Fuller is not a wide receiver one, says Margots. Oh, what an awful take. Ugh, what a probably biased take. Can we do a Q&A one day, all topic stuff about you, Sal? You're a cool dude, and I don't want to take away from the football stream. Yeah, ask any questions you want. I like helping people with their fantasy. That's the whole point of this channel and stuff. But I like more talking business, life, all that stuff. A lot more, right? It's not as boxed into this guy or this guy, right? I understand why that stuff's important for people. It's entertainment. They're trying to figure out their lineup. So we help with that too. But yeah. Game day at Lambeau is pretty awesome. Nice. All right, so the person that said Will Fuller is not a wide receiver one, I mean, shake your head back and forth. Let's look at the games where Will Fuller has actually played in this year, 5 of them. He has finished in week 1, 19.2 fantasy points. That's pretty good, right? Week 3, 15.4. Ooh, worst week though, 15.4. Week 4, 22.8. That's pretty good. Week 5, 15.8. These are all top 25 performances, by the way. multiple top 10s. And then last week, 24.3, number 3 overall wide receiver. Yeah, you put that consistency together. Obviously, he had the 0 points against Marcus Peters because he left the game with an injury. Let's see where he actually ranks. Like, stats-wise, he's not going to rank out as the number 5 overall receiver because he left the game early with an injury, right? But let's go to fantasy points per game, which is also probably going to be skewed because of that. But if you filter out the game where he leaves the game early for an injury, Will Fuller is the number 6 overall wide receiver right now. So that's a wide receiver one last time I checked. Kyler or Mahomes for cash? Probably Kyler, if you're choosing one. Got followed by the crypto guy on Twitter. I'm not sure if you're watching this. Sal over Osmo, says somebody. Yeah, no comparison or anything like that for me. I just like doing videos and content. I like to try and grow that from a business standpoint and reach more people and help people out. But yeah, no eggplant measuring contests over here. I like Osmo a lot. Respect them. Mutual relationship between them two. We got over 30,800 people right now subscribed to this channel. It's not going to happen today. I don't think so, unless you guys are feeling extra motivated. But we might hit 31,000 today. That'd be pretty damn cool. So I appreciate all of you in advance. What do we got? Who should I start, Fells or Hawkinson? I have Fells projected for more. Should I invest in ETFs or dividend stocks? I am not a stockbroker, so get a financial advisor. Pay that man 1% of your portfolio and just let them handle everything for you. Make sure that they're doing it properly. But that is a good way to spend your money on proper accounting and proper financial advising, in my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. Watson or Rodgers? Watson for me, probably there. Stafford or Herbert? I have more Herbert, I believe. Watson or Rodgers for a GPP? Both look very good. They're both 2 of my top 4 on stacks, but I prefer right now Watson. I've apologized if you already answered this, but just turning in. Do you think Jamal Williams is bad chalk today? I think he's great chalk. I have double the field. Hey, Sal, love the content. Pick one, MVS or Kirk? I will go with MVS, actually, for GPPs. Hill or Fuller? I have more Hill. Watson or Rodgers? Watson. Shark or Beasley in a flex? Shark. Subscribe. Sal is one of the most genuine. Take it or leave it. Luminary Lee. Too kind. Yeah, if you're brand new here, what's up? How you doing? Not only subscribe here, because that's cool. Hang out here. All these live streams, 3 a week right now. But also hit me up on Twitter as well. You can follow some other stuff on there. I'm going to try and start to get vlog number 4 out maybe over this next week. I got a buddy who should be here later today if it doesn't pour. He's driving his motorcycle down, and he's going to be staying in the area for 2 weeks. So maybe we can get some vlogs going with that. What is Swift's ownership? Let me get that for you. Are you premium on Fantasy Cruncher? So, I mean, here's the spiel that everybody already knows it. I do shows with Osmo, so I get Fantasy Cruncher for free. So I'm whatever the top line is on Fantasy Cruncher. Or whatever the one that comes with Osmo contractor stuff is. DeAndre Swift will probably be around 5% owned today. That's probably too low owned. Who's the best QB today? Brett Favre. Who is your team, bro? I am a Packers fan. I am a Green Bay Packers fan. Kamara or Hopkins in my flex? I would prefer Kamara. Minshew or Brady? I will go Brady. OBJ or Gibson? You are a god, says Steven. I mean, I don't even know what that means. OBJ, though. Watson, McLaurin, or Murray and Moore? Watson and McLaurin. Should I start Claypool or Fuller? Fuller. My DFS channel, my favorite DFS channel, says Chris De Hoyos. Hey, I appreciate that. But soon, very soon, I'm going to be your favorite overall channel, not just DFS. You go to YouTube, you're going to get a lot. Not just the fantasy spins, but sports betting and a lot of other stuff. My man Sal stays with that fire. Always appreciate, bro. Always appreciate you. Derrick Henry or Kamara? Kamara. Will Ramsey play the slot again or Shadow Robinson? How do you value that versus Odell against Cincinnati with a number 1 cornerback and Mike Evans? That's like the longest question. So you're asking me, do I like Robinson, Odell, or Mike Evans more? I'll go with Odell. Completely fading Williams and Bernard, a terrible idea. And taking wide receivers at similar price point to be different. Taking Kamara, Hunt, and Connor at running back. No, it's not. I mean, if you're playing one lineup, you can do that. If you're playing 150, yeah, that's a bad idea. If you're playing one lineup, you can fade Williams and Bernard. I really don't want to be fading Williams today. A team has a 30 implied total against a terrible run defense with a guy who just went for 8 catches and 95 yards as a running back a couple weeks back when Adams was out. Now, Aaron Jones is likely going to be out. I expect Williams to touch the ball at least 15 times today. Maybe 11 carries and 4 receptions. 11 carries for 50 yards, 4 receptions for 30, right? So what's that going to get you? 12 fantasy points? Somewhere around there. Then you're hoping for the touchdown, which the upside is going to be there on the touchdown if your team's in the red zone a lot, scoring a lot of touchdowns. If the Packers are projected to score 4 to 5 touchdowns today, and a starting running back seeing 15 to 16 touches is minimum priced, that just looks really fucking good, right? Sal, you are the shiznit, says Leroy. Hall of Fame subscriber. My man Leroy's an OG on the Patreon, man. We got a good community there. At some point, I don't know how we set this up, but I got to figure out a way to set up some sort of trip for all the patrons out there. got to make sure that I can set it up in a way that one of those patrons isn't a murderer or serial killer and doesn't try and take advantage of all of us. Saints, Harris, and Callaway are your replacement receivers. They sure are, and they are just straight up booty. Gio, Fuller, Robinson, Drake. What about him? One wide receiver or two wide receiver stack with loaded slate. Both. I'm running both today. I usually run only two wide receiver stack / tight ends, but I'm running both as of right now today. Why is Drake $4,800? Because, he stinks. If he doesn't score 2 touchdowns, he stinks. Gio over Jamal? I like Jamal more. Can you elaborate on Fuller versus Claypool? Yeah, Deontay Johnson's back. That hurts Claypool. Claypool only saw 4 targets and less routes run last week. Claypool is relying on just touchdowns right now, where Fuller is also getting the volume. Claypool is, I would say, a top 25 receiver, top 30 the rest of the way. Fuller, to me, is a top 10. Fuller's matchup, not that threatening. Claypool, to me, today is a wide receiver on his team, wide receiver 2A, 2B with Juju. Deontay's number 1. Fuller is by far the wide receiver 1. Way more upside downfield, too, in my opinion. Somebody says, Al Z and Sal video, please. So Seinfeld, Al Seinfeld. I've interacted with Al on Twitter a couple times. All positive. Neutral. No. Nothing other than that. Collaborating is extremely hard for content creators right now. I've had to turn people down. I don't want to burn out. So Al, from what it seems on Twitter, has a family. So I'm sure he has even less time than I would have to collaborate. So yeah, if there was a time that worked out, it made sense for us, I would definitely collaborate with Al. It would just have to not put pressure on either of us, and that's probably during the heart of football what's going to happen. Are you playing the Millie Maker for 20? I will have my 3 max lineups in the Millie Maker. I'll probably have 1 to 3 lineups in the Millie Maker. I hate the Millie Maker. Sal, why are all of your QBs in X? Just curious. Because this week is very spread out. Most of the weeks I get guys that pop out more than others. This week is very spread out. I got a lot of guys like 11 to 15% owned. Nobody really stands above the rest for the most part. You can get my exact ownerships and things like that over on the Patreon on the show this morning. Jeff Smith is a go with Crowder out. I've got like 4%. All right, we got 9 more minutes and then I'm going to be done. He does a weekly cage match thing. Yeah, I would do that if Al wanted to do that. If he reaches out to me, I'll do it. Let him know. Any Chris Carson love? A little bit. Chenault Cole. I'll go with Chenault there. Wide receiver page, please. Yeah. So let's check in one final time because we're getting less than 40 minutes now until we get to Jock Market being full. So again, final plug for Jock Market down below. The Daily Fantasy Sports meets the Stock Exchange. You like fantasy sports? You want to learn more about the Stock Exchange? You like fantasy sports and you like the Stock Exchange. Perfect marriage. Check it out. Link down below. These are their current prices, fair value, ththings like that. Let's see what the updated stuff is looking like. 40 minutes until lock for Jock Market. I got to get it. I'm going to enter into the contest right now on my phone so I can be good to go. So I'm going to start buying some stocks, but Josh Allen, basically who's going to be low owned in like DFS usually is undervalued in this. Guys that play on Monday night tend to be undervalued as well. Mark Turner. Your Patreon content is awesome. Thank you. This man, Mark Turner, is a Patreon, which is like, depending on your tier, on average, like $30 a month. He just donated $25 Ooskies. He just paid for an extra tier of Patreon for free. I appreciate that a ton. Can you play Bell? No. So what I got right now on the screen, somebody just asked if Jock Market's pricing. A lot of guys are looking underpriced right now. Nobody even wants to touch Teddy Bridgewater as of right now. There hasn't even been a bid on Teddy Bridgewater, so that looks very appealing. So I'm going to join the contest right now. Yeah, this looks very appealing. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you a ton. Sal and Al, cage match. Book it. I'm down if he wants to reach out. He can reach out to me. I'm down. Any Aaron Jones news yet? None. Aaron Jones news will come out around 11:30 when inactives are out. Sal, the best 2 wide receivers today overall. Greg Jennings and Roy Williams. Let's look at some more guys. Ronald Jones is going a little bit overvalued in Jock Market, in my opinion. Guys who have the upside to finish highly that are in this low range right now, right? Like Deontay Johnson has some upside there, I would say. McKinnon definitely has some upside based on the touches that I'm projecting for him. David Johnson is going unowned right now in Jock Market. That's somebody that I'm probably going to put a bid in for basically right now. Yeah, David Johnson's going unowned. So I'm going to put a bid in for David Johnson. AK, everybody listening to this is now going to steal my thunder. All right, so let's go with that many shares of David Johnson. All right, so we're going to start to get some of these guys. So this is just what it's all about. Current price. If this current price is lower than the fair value, there's value in that price. So you can take a screenshot of this if you want. You can do whatever you got to do. But yeah, check out Jock Market. Link down below. Proud partner. We're just in Forbes as well. This is a legit site. This is a legit company. I want to be sponsoring them if not. Or partner with them. Them sponsoring me, I guess, is the proper way to say that. What do we got in here? Shit ton of people. Almost 1,200 people still in here. Wide receiver page, please. Yeah, it's on the screen. What's your flex PPR? Pick A-Rob, Fuller, Jair's shadow is scary. Jair's shadow is not scary. Drake or Giovanni Bernard. Okay, if you do, this is not against Jeffrey. This is just groupthink in general. Groupthink is going to tell you that Jair Alexander matchup against Will Fuller is bad for Will Fuller. It's scary. If you actually look into it, it's literally not. Right? The Packers, this is the issue. The Packers played the Lions without Kenny Golladay. Okay. The Packers played the Vikings before Justin Jefferson even started to run a lot of routes. Okay, so they got away from 2 really good wide receivers. The Packers played the Saints without Michael Thomas. So they got away from 3 teams alphas in a row. Then they go to Calvin Ridley, and there's no Julio Jones out there. And Calvin Ridley has 2 passes that are overthrown and underthrown, would have been a touchdown. And then they play Mike Evans in a game where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do not have to pass the ball, and Mike Evans stinks. So, yeah. What city do you live in? Says Family Man. Hey, man, I've seen a lot of these movies before and stuff. People that ask me on the internet where I live, that does not seem like the greatest answer. I think in the rule book of stranger danger, they tell you, don't take candy from strangers, don't go into the white van, and don't tell people on the internet where you live. So, not for me. Greg Jennings, Roy Williams, LOL. Yeah. Hey, Sal, a bit late coming in. Many thoughts need to be addressed, but thoughts on Giovanni Bernard. He looks decent. Not my highest owned, but he looks decent. Awesome answer, says Jeffrey. Thank you. I appreciate it. How many shares did you get of David Johnson? All of them. Fantasy, ? Matt Ryan or Josh Adams? Josh, I have no idea what you're saying. Josh Allen or Matt Ryan? In your season long, I like Allen. In DFS, I like more Ryan. El Tato donates $2. He says Monty or Fuller. Hey. I will be going with Fuller for sure. Not even close. I'm just typing out a tweet right now. Is it okay to fade Brady? Yes. Alrighty. Can you use Jock Market in a browser? No iPhone. No, it's only an app right now. Need 2. Fuller, Julio Jones, AJ Green, Tyreek Hill, Todd Gurley, and Bell. Fuller and Julio Jones for me. No, Tyreek Hill and Julio Jones. Didn't see Tyreek. Jared Cook in a single entry. Sounds good. Jamal Williams or James Robinson? Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams still. Is Aaron Jones and Adams a good stack? Aaron Jones, Matthew Cook is likely going to be out, and we will have that news in a couple of moments. Alrighty, just finishing this up real quickly. How do you feel about Mike Williams versus Herbert with a Herbert combo as him being the main target? Keenan Allen is the main target, and then Hunter Henry is the second target. Mike Williams is the third target in that offense. Keenan Allen or Fuller? Keenan Allen. Love your show. It's so much better than others. Don't agree. Davis from the Bills. Yay or nay? Davis from the Bills. I don't have much. Biggest bust today? I don't actually know who the biggest bust today is going to be. Probably Terry McLaurin. But there's also a good chance he could be the highest scoring wide receiver. That's the whole point of his ownership. But the ownership is expecting him to really put out, even though Kyle Allen is still his quarterback. Is one Cards running back less terrible than the other? I think Chase Edmonds is better than Kenny Drake in real life, yes. Edelman or James White? James White. Do you think Williams and Adams is a good stack? I mean, stacking those players up isn't really stacking them, I would say. But, yeah, they're both good to play together if you want to. Last question, McKinnon or Montgomery? McKinnon. Alrighty, gang. I think I'm going to bounce. If you want your question to be guaranteed answered, you can join Patreon before the game start. Hop into the Discord on Patreon. Or you can just leave a super chat because I'm about to bounce. We've been live for about an hour and a half right now. Exactly an hour and a half. I appreciate you all a ton. Before you go, if I can get all 1,100 of you, before you move to the next stream, hit the like and subscribe button. It really, really does help this channel grow a ton. Share it with a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend. If you enjoy this content, I greatly, greatly appreciate you a ton. The live streams are my favorite part of the week of all the content that I do. They said Mike Williams is the number one target one-on-one coverage this week. The number one target for the Chargers is Keenan Allen. I don't know who they are, but it's Keenan Allen. Enjoy the slate. Grab a brewski for me. I'll try. No Aaron Jones today. Officially now out. Perfect. I don't have to change anything then. Aaron Jones is officially out. Perfect. All right, everybody. Peace out. Aaron Jones is inactive. Yes, he is. He's officially out. Thanks, Sal. You the man. You the man. Yeah, you all are great. Great show to everybody out there. Thank you. Before you leave, like, subscribe, and check out the Patreon. And be sure to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, the other social medias, if you enjoy my content. If you have not yet already checked out my my vlogs, I have 3 vlogs out that I've released over the past 2 weeks, I would say at this point, week and a half. So be sure to check all those out. I'm just dropping some links in there right now. Thanks, Sal. Great stuff. As always, have a great night. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck to all of you as well. I'm going to drop in just my social medias before we go. You know, plug yourself. You got to plug yourself on here. Plug yourself as much as you can, eh? That's what they say. They say distribute. Content distribution. Alrighty. And there's the Instagram. Alrighty, gang. Everybody, peace out. I appreciate you a ton. I'll see you all on the next one. I'm going to put this end screen on. Thank you to all the people who gave the super chats today. Shout out you, Mark. You're still pinned up there. You rock. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, gang. See you later. Y'all crazy motherfuckers. Crazy.